Hello everybody, welcome to All Sports Weekly episode 23. I am Trevor and with me this week I have Gavin. Hey mate.
Hey mate, how are you?
I'm well, yourself?
Very good.
Yeah?
Very good. Out of lockdown and happy.
Yes, out of lockdown, had a week off. Hope you missed us terribly. I'm sure you did. And we're back. Now a bit of news before we start. Obviously we're on YouTube, you're probably watching us there. We are now on Spotify. So that is a new thing.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that for the gym.
Mate, you just give the people what they want. They wanted Spotify, they wanted Gab.
Yeah.
Here it is. So not only are we on Spotify now, and you'll see a link down below for that, all the back episodes are also on there.
Move over Joe Rogan.
That's it. So yeah, all the All Sports Weekly are on there, and I'll send the link down there. Please follow us on there if you like, and that sort of thing. We're still on SoundCloud as well, obviously, and you can message me the usual way, allsportsweekly@outlook.com. Leave a message down below. We're on Twitter. You'll find us if you want. Please like the video, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You on Spotify?
Yep.
Righto. I had to do it. Everyone's kept on saying, do it, so...
Give the people what they want, mate.
Give them what they want. Before we start, little playoff updates here. NHL, the Game 4 of the final Stanley Cup is about to happen in about the next hour of going to filming here. It's currently a bit of a mismatch. Tampa's beating Montreal 3-0. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of, you know what. So by all, Tampa will probably win the Stanley Cup today, if not soon. Montreal needing to win 4 games in a row. Not going to happen. So Tampa more than likely going to go back to back, and thank God for that. And just a heads up, the NBA Finals, the final is Game 1 is tomorrow. So Milwaukee are going to represent the East, and Phoenix are going to represent the West. The bookies seem to think this one's going to be pretty one-sided. When Aaron was on here, going back a while, he's my NBA man. He reckons Milwaukee don't write them off, bit of a bogey team. They ended up finishing 3rd in the East with a 46-26 record, so not flash, but they've got that playoff run. Phoenix is a much better 51-21 record. With the playoffs so far with Phoenix, you got Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul been lighting it up and doing the job. Milwaukee, it's all about Giannis. Now, Giannis is their best player by some margin, and he's got a knee problem, went down clutching his knee in Game 4. Just on a side note, Americans treat injury a bit different. So, like, for example, in the NRL, Nathan Cleary's got an injury, and straight up people go, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, right? So old mate's he went down clutching his knee. No one in the public knows what he's done.
Yeah.
So he could have an ACL. He could be about to play. Going into this game, they tell you nothing. Every game they list him until the moment of, and then they don't share injury information.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's cagey.
It's cagey. But it's your team. Like, you know, if that was your team, you don't want the opposition to know if he's in or out.
Yeah. So they might know he's not going to play for a year.
I think a lot of the pressure in the Australian sports comes because of the bookies. They want to set their odds, you know, like, I think it was a few years ago with Jonathan Thurston was out. They wanted to know, was he playing or not? Because it changes the game so much, you know.
The bookies. That's why the AFL have that extra week. Remember that when North Melbourne rested those players and the bookies had a kitten?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point you raise. So, yeah, but I think the consensus is if Giannis doesn't play, Phoenix win. And that, we'll see. We'll see about that one. Okay. So, what have you been watching this week, Gav?
I've been watching a bit of the tennis.
Yep.
A bit of the NRL, State of Origin, and a bit of AFL too.
Yeah, it's been, because I'm on holidays from work and also have had a lockdown, I've been watching a fair bit, mate. I've watched Euro 2020, Wimbledon, NRL, AFL, and even a bit of cornholing.
Cornholing.
Mate, you think... Cornholing, ESPN 2, mate. Riveting stuff. Don't knock it. And I saw a pretty nasty couple of crashes on the Tour de France.
That one big one took out the whole peloton.
And that Muppet with the sign. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. And she got caught by the police too.
Good.
So.
And what did the sign say? Hello, Grandma or something?
I don't know.
I think it said hello, Grandma. So Grandma must be so proud. Okay. Let's first of all talk about football, mate. We've got the Euro 2020 going on. Have you caught any of that?
I watched the England-Germany game.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
So on
Some
that,
nice goals.
now, in all world sport, England versus Germany, that is a rivalry.
Yeah.
Couple of world wars never, sort of stoked the fire a bit. But England fans know Germany's the team that seems to do them in the big tournaments, right? When they beat Germany at home, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
They partied like they'd won the World Cup.
Yeah, it was great. I liked it. I think they look good.
They do. And so we've got a semi-final. The first game is tomorrow morning, Italy and Spain. Now, I'm impressed with Italy. Like, Australians have nightmares about Italian football. And they're typical, they're playing dirty, they're diving, they're just Italy.
It's Italy.
Right? They've conceded 1 goal in the whole tournament. Spain, to me, looks soft. A little bit lucky to be there. For me, Italy win that game. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't follow it too much, but I think Italy...
Yeah. And England are going to play against Denmark in the semi. Now, check out Denmark. Their first game, the player has a cardiac arrest on the field and they lose. Game 2, they also lose, and they were pretty much out. Beat Russia in Game 3, 4-1. Go sneak in on goal difference. Now getting better in a semi-final of a Euro with a fair bit to play for and a fair bit of camaraderie there. They're the team that everyone's sleeping on.
Yeah, they snuck through. I think England, though.
Me too. And if it is that Italy-England final like I think it is, that's going to be one.
Be good.
And I think it's at Wembley.
Yeah.
Where there's full crowds. So there you go. Might be that there might be more coming home for England than just COVID. We'll see. And just quickly, mate, I watched the A-League Grand Final. Did you catch any of that?
I did. I watched it. I was flicking over to it.
Pretty good game.
The first goal was a cracker.
Yeah, so Costa Barbarouses with a really good long-range goal for Sydney. Sydney got 1-0. But Luke Bratton, and he's one of them experienced campaigners, Socceroo, he lost his mind.
Yeah, look...
Did you see those tackles? He got a red card early on. It was, I think, the 35th minute. Now, the umpire in an A-League final does not want to red card someone, but he didn't give him much choice.
The first one was a definite yellow. Like, that was silly.
I've seen straight reds for that.
Yeah, so I think he was lucky there to get the yellow. And then the second one, he just should have known better.
He should have known better.
It wasn't, the second one, not really deserving of a red, but definitely is 2 yellows you go on. So
He had to be sent, I'm afraid, yeah. And so from that, the game changed and it turned out to be 3-1 to Melbourne. So Melbourne win the premiership. They've done the double, the Premier's played the championship. Congratulations to them. Stevie Corica, the Sydney FC coach, did his usual, just whinges the whole time. I just can't stand him.
Do you reckon he's the Ricky Stewart?
I think he's worse.
He blames the ref and everything.
Has Steve Corica ever accepted a single ref decision in the history of football? I've actually seen him in the flesh watching a game where we were sitting behind there. The way he carries himself, don't rate him. And the A-League more broadly got through a season where there was no internationals. They've had a reduced salary cap. A lot of Australian juniors have played this year that wouldn't have played, so that's something there, and it's been a pretty good year, I guess.
It has, but I saw the figures that they got for it, and I mean, they had the restricted crowd. I think they had like 15,000, which was 50%, but they only had like 100,000 people watching on KO because the AFL was on at the same time.
The numbers are low. It is a struggling league, that's it. And now they're on a streaming service, mate.
Yeah. Where does that go?
Well, anyway. So, yeah, congrats to Melbourne there. Okay, bit of tennis, mate. There's a thing called Wimbledon on at the moment. You onto this one?
I've heard of it.
Heard of it. Before we start tennis, I have to make a correction. I've been pulled up by one of All Sports Weekly's friends of the show, Richard Berry. And he's right, and it was one of those things when I said it last show and I kind of realised later. Rod Laver was not affected, his career was not affected by the war. It was the fact that he turned professional. It was kind of like in tennis, a bit of like a Super League war or something like that, where it was an amateur sport. Rod Laver decided to turn pro and to get paid, and he was ostracised from the fraternity.
Yeah, right.
So he wasn't allowed to play for 7 years in the Grand Slam tournaments. In that time, some people picked up a few. Roy Emerson, he got a lot of Grand Slams, but there's a little asterisk there. It was on Rocket Rod wasn't welcome.
Yeah, right.
So Rocket Rod won the Grand Slam, which is all 4 Grand Slams in 1 year. Did a 7-year ban, came back in and won them all in the 1 year again.
Brilliant.
Handy.
Yeah.
Handy. So that's a good little bit of tennis info there. Okay, so now we're into Wimbledon's second week. Go through a bit of news, mate. Andy Murray, out. 34 years old. He looked, his body, is he done?
I think so. I think he'll just keep kind of playing, but I don't think you'll see him win. Poor fellow, he's just in the wrong era, wasn't he?
He's in the Stuart McGill syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nadal did not enter the tournament, citing that 2 weeks was not a long enough turnaround from French to Wimbledon to get his body up. Had a chat about Nadal the other week there. He just physically looks older, father time. Nadal, I think he's just going to focus everything on that French Open now.
Yeah, I think he's just going to pick his tournaments and that's it.
Yep.
And I guess, we don't like that with our athletes in Australia to kind of, we just want you to see you compete. But he's older, he knows his body, he's just going to pick and choose. And
he's going to pick and choose. I think he'll have a tilt to the US Open.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the grass court thing I think is pretty much done.
I think he knew he just wasn't going to win.
It's like Federer on clay. It's not going to happen, But Novak rolls on, mate. He's looking good.
And Federer won last night too, so...
So Federer's going to probably play Medvedev in the quarterfinal. Medvedev, the number 2 seed. He still has to win, of course, but that looks likely. Federer in the quarters. Can he do it?
Hope so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nick Kyrgios.
Oh, Nick.
He's pulled out. Body broke down. Everyone's saying what's obvious. He's not basically dedicated enough. He doesn't train hard enough. He's not capable of playing Grand Slam tennis for 2 weeks. He doesn't seem to care, do you?
I don't know where I sit on Nick. 1 minute you hate him, next minute you love him. It's the good old DV relationship, isn't it? I just keep coming back for more.
Right, okay.
He plays that game with Serena Williams. Venus Williams, and you're back.
The crowd's great.
The crowd's
really
watching
loving
him. They're laughing. They're playing. You're like, okay, maybe he's turned the corner, and okay, injuries happen, but he's got that record of just not giving it in.
He'll never win a Grand Slam unless he makes changes.
Yeah. Apparently, he's still open to the Olympics. The door's there, but it all depends on this injury.
I'm hearing that he's not going to play.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that he's not going to play, but yeah. Anyway,
I'd just love to see him just go all out and just want to be a tennis player, but who knows?
Now, talking about the women's draw here. Now, first of all, Serena Williams pulled out in the first round, winning 3-1, slips over, retires at 3-all. So she's lasted about 30 minutes and she's out injured. 39 years of age. Father time?
It's getting close.
Yeah. I think we're in tennis, male and female, we're just seeing all at once, all of a sudden, all of these players who've been the stalwarts for years are all, Novak exception, getting to the end now.
Yeah.
So, Serena Williams walked off, and I don't know if she'll be back. Osaka's out, protecting her mental health, at home, whatever. And Ash Barty overnight has beaten Krejcikova, who won the French Open. Big game, straight sets, and she's now into the quarterfinal.
It's hers to win, isn't it?
She's number 1 in the world, but the world of tennis, they don't actually rate her. They think that Osaka is the best. Osaka's now out. That's going to be the asterisk. But Barty needs to come and win Wimbledon and shove it down the throat of a few people.
Yep.
And she's going to play an Aussie in the quarter. So we've got an all-Aussie quarter final. So we're going to have an Aussie in the semis, which is pretty cool. And this Aussie, she's playing Croatian-born and now calls Australia home of Tomljanovic. She was involved in a pretty spicy contest with the Latvian. Did you see this one where they all
I watched it, yeah. There's no love.
No love. So, to bring you up to speed, the Latvian, her name, Ostapenko. Ostapenko won the first set and then basically was collapsing. Tomljanovic had won 7 games in a row. It's 4-love Tomljanovic in the third set, and Ostapenko calls an injury timeout. Now, the injury timeout, what was the injury? No one knows, right? She basically got a break of the game, arrested momentum, and came out and broke her serve in the next game. Now, she didn't win. When they shook hands after the game, I think the Aussie said, "How's your injury going?" And it was on. Did you see that one?
Yeah, they had a few words there, and look, they're not going to be catching up for some beers after, are
There's
they?
no love lost there. Now, I've had a letter from a friend of the show, Grant Archibald. He poses a question I want to ask you, mate. Tennis and medical timeouts. As a tennis aficionado, do you believe there should be some regulations introduced for medi timeouts to avoid players using it more as a strategy as opposed to what it's originally intended for? Should it only be permitted before the players serve? And should the opposition player be awarded a free point as a disincentive? Because it's been used, you remember Barty in the Australian Open?
Barty, and I think Djokovic has been questioned about it before, and I think he even openly said he used it to just to break the momentum. So
thoughts on that?
As you were saying before, like timeouts for medical things in all sports is abused. Like rugby league do it, soccer uses it. How do you tighten up on what a player is or isn't injured with? A strain or a sprain, you can't see it.
These things that are brought in for player welfare and then the players abuse it, I think take it away from them. To answer Grant's question, I'd normally just go and say, if you can't play, if you need a doctor, just forfeit the game. I know there's some exceptions, people get cramps and so forth, but really, something has to change with this. And good on the Aussie to just calling her out too.
Maybe they just need to have a doctor that's not affiliated to both, just being the rule maker.
If you need a doctor, you basically need to forfeit the match.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but that's my opinion. All right, now we're going to move on to NRL here now. Now, Gabs, I'm about to let you off the leash here, but before we do that, let's painfully look back to State of Origin 2. Just quickly, mate, thoughts on that?
They're just too good. If you can shut down Tedesco, you've still got Tommy Turbo and Latrell. If you can shut down one of them, then you still got the other.
Yeah. It hurts.
They just got too much strike force, and we're just lacking the players that we need.
So we know New South Wales are a great team. We know that, right? But what we didn't know and what was confronting to me is how poorly we played, how impotent we looked like when we had the ball in our up their end. We didn't know what to do with it. We lack cohesion.
I think Munster has been a bit off.
Yeah.
I think our forwards have done pretty well. I think forwards on forwards been looking all right, but the backs we just lack. I think wasn't it Fatty Vorden got caught off air making a few comments.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty telling.
You know what? He wasn't far
said, cancel game 3.
Cancel game 3. We just lacked the attack. We lacked speed.
Now, look, I'm a proud Queensland fan. After the game, the post-match commentary from Cherry Evans and even Welsh said it. They said that we lacked motivation. Now, this is where I start to get very upset. You've just been towed up in the first game. How can you not be motivated? I'm happy to lose the game if someone has to lose, but we shouldn't be lacking motivation for a Game 2 Origin at home. That is scary for a Queensland fan. What's that about?
I don't know. I find it strange because they had the non-Queenslander selected for 20 minutes there, and he was motivated as all hell.
Yeah.
But then
you should never lose an Origin due to motivation.
Yeah, that's normally our go-to. But
that's not acceptable for a Queensland player.
No, and he's copping some flack.
And that's where it comes back to the coach. I'm sorry, but now we can't hang a coach out to dry, after 2 games. But geez, game 3, Queensland want to show up.
Who do you pick instead? Who's your coach?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, but I've never seen a coach score a try, and a coach is an easy scapegoat. But when the players aren't motivated or organised or look like they want to play, that's where I look at the coach.
Yeah.
So, New South Wales have got Moses coming in and Whited into the halves because of the Penrith duo that are out. Pretty sort of...
I don't think they'll miss a beat.
No. And the Queensland teams come out, Ponga's back.
He looked good on the weekend.
Yeah. How am I going to say him? Hamiso Tubai Fidel. He's the speedster for the Cowboys. Can run at 37 k's an hour, and you can't teach speed. But he's in the centres, which I thought was weird. He's a winger.
Yeah.
Origin centre.
Who will he be marking?
There's going to be a lot of edge traffic going there, mate.
Yeah.
Watch out. It's the best Queensland team we can field. It's what we've got. That's what we've got. But... I don't care about the result. I want to see Queensland lift for Game 3. This business of we weren't motivated, and I'm sorry, that's not good enough.
No.
Imagine if the All Blacks we weren't all really motivated for that.
Yeah, I hope they weren't, actually.
It's a dark day for Queensland, and Lucas was on the show last week. He left a comment saying, on the show, he said, you've got to give Green 2 or 3 series. He's now written a comment, he's changed his mind on that one. We need to see something in this Game 3. It's not a dead rubber.
Yeah, and Fafita might be out too if he cops that 1 game ban, so...
And he's done nothing in the games 1 and 2 anyway. In Fafita's club form at times, and then you pick him for Origin, I can't even remember him getting the ball.
No. Well, he's come off the bench too, so...
Yeah, so bring on Game 3 next week, and like I say, Queensland have to show something here. I can tell you, if New South Wales out-motivate us when they've already won the series, and we've been spanked, then we've got problems.
Yeah, if we lose by another 50, it's not looking good.
No. All right, mate. Now we're going to talk a bit about the NRL itself. COVID breaches. I'm going to let you off the leash, mate. Paul Vaughan's party, $305,000 in fines. Vaughan got 8 weeks. For those who didn't know, he's had a party, knowingly broke COVID protocol, had 12, 13 people over on the syrup. Loud, cops rocked up, they were hiding in cupboards, they were hiding under beds. What do you think about this, mate?
I think, if anything, the punishment isn't enough. I was telling you before, I think they should have lost some competition points because it's put the whole competition, on edge.
It actually could destroy the whole comp.
In the past, teams have lost points for salary cap stuff, and people have complained that the players are getting punished for that sort of stuff. This is the players going out and just not caring about the rules. That it's not just the NRL rules, but it was the New South Wales government rules for the general public as well.
And they can't plead ignorance. They knowingly did this
knew it.
In a clandestine... Well, when I say clandestine, they're stupid. They rocked up in Ubers with slabs of beer. Yeah. Then the cops came because of the noise.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the players, Corey Norman, Josh Maguire, Jack Bird, Blake Laurie, Cade Ellis, Matt Duffy, Jared Beale, Josh Kerr, Daniel Alvaro, Tyrell something, Zach Lomax, and Jack DeBellin. Jack DeBellin, who's just come back from a pretty serious charge where he nearly lost his career. You wouldn't keep your head down a bit, Gav? Like, these guys, I tell you.
And I think, they're all, except for Paul Vaughan, he's gone for the rest of the year. Everyone else gets 1 match banned, but it's over 2 or 3 rounds so that they can field a team. And I know that's because of the salary,
the NRL interest,
the COVID bubble. They can't bring players in, but mate, I think they're lucky not to lose competition points and not get a wooden spoon for it.
Yeah, it is serious. I mean, imagine being the player or the players that bring COVID into the NRL and destroy the whole league. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't be able to walk down the street.
Were there other people there too, like non-NRL?
Well, that's the thing. They said they weren't breaching the bubble, but how did they get there? Did they get in the cab? How did they get home? Are the partners there? Where have they been?
Yeah, I don't know. It won't take much for one of the premiers just to... guys.
Yeah, that's right. Because the NRL's trying to get allowances from state premiers to say, we want to come in and play this game. And there's certain assurances that Volandi's got to make. And then this happens. Yeah. I'm with you, mate. Whatever.
It's poor.
It's really poor. It's really poor. Now, the results from the weekend just gone, blowouts, right? Now, this goes back to a bit of an All Sports Weekly commentary that's been happening. Richard was the first to sort of introduce it, this Volandi's ball, where basically we went to it last year to stop the wrestle to this quick. It's now been brought in for all this stuff. There seems to be no grind anymore, and it's just like this. What are we going to do about these blowouts, mate?
I don't know. Did you see Wayne Bennett's blow up? And he's just blaming team rosters and the management of a team. I mean, he knows a thing or two about that. So
yeah, he does. But we did have some. It's worth mentioning a couple of close games. So to be fair, that there were some close games. But in 1 week, we had a game 46-0, 66-0. 44-6, 38-0, and then West got a couple of tries, and that one was a bit closer. But
and even the Warriors game that turned into a golden point, the Warriors had that.
Don't even. If I was a Warriors fan, I would have committed suicide years ago. Have you ever seen them try to close out a win?
Oh my god!
So, do we need to play with the rules some more?
I don't know. What do? We didn't want the wrestle. We didn't want the slow game.
Yeah.
We got the faster game. We're getting score blowouts. I don't know.
Just quickly, will the loss of Cleary and Luai, although Luai is only a short-term injury, is that going to hurt him?
It might slow him down, but Matt Burton, he's a
Weapon.
superstar. Like, and they've still got attack force everywhere. So I think depending on their draw, I don't think they'll really miss too much.
And Canterbury fans watching Matt Burton coming over next year, you've got yourself a player there.
He's handy.
Weapon. Okay, mate, we're going to quickly go to AFL. Now, AFL round 16, Sean Burgoyne, a great milestone, 400 games. So, guys, 400 games, that's a hell of an achievement. Only the 5th player to ever do this. Before we talk about that, another letter here from Grant Archibald, fan of the show. With the way the AFL has changed and the game is now faster and players have to be now more athletic, is Sean going to be the last player we see eclipsing the 400 game mark for some time? And out of the current players, do you think any others could reach this milestone? So, 400 games, only 5 players of all time have ever done that. But 3 of those 5 have been playing within the last 6 years. So I think that although Grant's point is right about the game's changing, sports science is changing, the players are professional, they're fitter, and dare I say it, there's maybe not as much collision as there used to be in AFL, that's just my take. So I think actually there'll be more players playing for longer rather than less, just my opinion. Of the current players though, I'm going to say Selwood, he's played 325, so can he play another 3 seasons? Yeah, maybe. Not sure, but 400, hell of an achievement. 157 games for Port, 243 for the Hawks. Hawks couldn't get up and win for him though.
No.
And he went to kick a goal and he missed it. Did you see that? The crowd, where he took a snap, kicked it behind, but congratulations to him. Richmond lost to the Suns.
Yeah, good.
We had I keep going on about this each week.
Well, they're dropping down. They're falling further and further down, and the Suns. I actually watched the game. They played well.
That was in Melbourne.
Yeah, they turned up and they got the job done.
Richmond are in trouble. Melbourne lost to the Giants.
Yep.
Melbourne, top of the table, no more, starting to wobble. Melbourne fans, they've been here before. And this one I just had to mention. Sydney Swans, 118, West Coast, 26. Hang your head in shame, West Coast and West Coast supporters. This is a team that was running 7th, I think still is in the 8th. They've been beaten 118 to 26.
So smashing out.
They travel like a box of prawns. New segment, Gavin's Gripe. Right, Gav, what's been pissing you off?
Well, we've spoken about the NRL, so I won't go there.
Okay.
I won't mention the Origin again.
Please don't.
We spoke about Kyrgios, the love-hate relationship you have with him if you love him or you hate him, and he just wins you back over.
Should be Gavin's Gripes.
Mine is the boxing. Zarappa.
Yes.
You talk the talk, and you didn't even get on the plane to walk the walk.
Another black eye.
And you were lining up to watch it, weren't you?
I was actually going to watch it. I was actually going to get it on an Australian boxing match I was interested in. He cited COVID concerns.
Yeah, I get it, but other sports are doing it. You had plenty of time, to move your camp and everything.
7 days out, he's pulled the pin. Apparently Fox Sports are filthy.
Oh, I would be too. Yeah. I was actually looking forward to it because, as we were saying, that's the next. This is it. Whoever wins this, you're off. You're on your way.
That fight's not going to happen now.
No, if I was there, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
And good on for Sparks taking the fight.
He's going to get absolutely pumped.
Yeah.
One hot minute. Will the Wallabies beat France tomorrow night?
Yes.
Are games like New Zealand versus Tonga good or bad for rugby? The 102-0. Is that good for rugby?
No. Well, that happens in the NRL every week. So.
Aye. Should Brisbane have a second NRL team?
Yep.
Will Corey Norman get another NRL contract?
No.
Who will win out of Fury versus Wilder 3?
Fury.
And what is your favourite Olympic sport? I have you as a dressage sort of guy. Synchronised swimming?
I love the weightlifting.
Bit of weightlifting?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice one.
My one for you is, should Wallabies players be able to get picked from around the world? Or should it just stay in the Super Rugby?
Yes.
Me too, yep.
We're bang out of time, guys. Thanks for watching. Going to be back next week with another show. 17 days to the Olympics. See you then.